Hi everybody, this is Agnes from Sediment. Last time we talked about 5 mistakes to avoid when you're cellaring your wine. So today, let's talk about 5 things you should consider when choosing wine to age. What I'm about to say may hurt. Not every wine can become better with age. In fact, majority of wine out there is not meant for cellaring at all. They are meant to be enjoyed young and fresh, with their bright fruit still present on the nose and palate. Even some premium category wines you do not want to store for too long. Examples such as Sancerre from Loire Valley and regional Chablis from France. However, greatest wines can age, and spending that extra time in bottle, in darkness, under the constant temperature leads to tertiary flavor development. It means that wine develops complexity, showing not only fruity flavors but also notes of truffles, marzipan, leather, forest floor, and autumn leaves. But what should you consider when choosing wine to age versus drinking it now? First, technical things, such as acidity, sugar level, alcohol level, and tannins. This might seem boring, but we cannot skip them because these elements act in wine as preservatives. And very simplistically speaking, we can actually say that wine with higher acidity, higher levels of residual sugar, as well as tannin and alcohol can be aged longer than wine with lower levels of these elements. But there is a but. Overall balance of wine must be considered. This is very important, and I cannot stress this enough. Even at young age, there should be sense of harmony in wine. Yes, elevated acidity aids into ageability of the wine, but if the acidity is unbalanced and very high without the support of concentration and intensity of the flavors, the wine will not develop into something complex. Likewise, aggressive, harsh, and green tannins will not become elegant and ripe with time. If anything, fruit might fade away and tannins will be all that is left. I believe the truly great wine can be drunk at young age. Yes, it might seem tight or even grippy, but it still should be very pleasant. There are grape varieties that are known to produce long-lasting wines, such as Chardonnay, Riesling, and Chenin Blanc for whites, as well as Cabernet Sauvignon, Syrah, and Pinot Noir for reds. While all these grapes still produce easy-drinking, fruit-driven wine styles for immediate consumption, there are still many more age-worthy Cabernet Sauvignons and Chardonnays than, let's say, Gamay and Sauvignon Blancs. And this is only if we're talking about international grape varieties. Indigenous grapes of Italy, such as Sangiovese or Nebbiolo, or Spain with Tempranillo, also show great capacity to age and develop, especially if sourced from premium site or producer. It makes sense that the higher the quality of the wine, the longer it can be aged. And there are different quality tier systems out there. Some are easy to understand and follow, such as the one in Burgundy, with their regional, village, premier, and Grand Cru levels. Others are more complex, as that of Germany, where next to site quality, also ripeness of the grapes and sugar level in the finished wine plays important role. And there are regions without official hierarchy of quality levels. Majority of New World wines would fall in this category, making it very important to know the quality-oriented producers. Therefore, when looking for wines to lay down for several years, it would make sense to invest in recognized Premier or Grand Cru rather than Village Burgundy. However, it can become quite addictive to search for bargains, as there are a lot of exceptions to these rules. Vintage does matter when we're talking about wine's capacity to age, especially in the old world. However, what is considered to be a good vintage for one region can be bad or even devastating in neighboring region. Even within a single region, different grape varieties can be impacted differently by the climatic conditions of one vintage. So this factor cannot be discussed generally, and it requires in-depth study of each specific vintage within each specific region. Furthermore, sometimes critics announce this great vintage and wine at young age is beautiful, but it somehow ages quite quickly, while other vintages are considered just okay, but wines turn out to show good aging potential. For example, 2006 vintage in Champagne is often considered average, but I myself have enjoyed vintage champagnes from this year quite a lot. Of course, there are also other factors that impact the ageability of wine, but in my view, these are some of the most important ones. And to really make sure that your wine ages gracefully, you also must know how to store it properly. I made a video about that.